If you're looking to install a post in your yard, but you're trying to figure out how to prevent post rot, or maybe you already installed some posts and you're trying to answer that same question, there are 5 different methods that I'm going to share with you in this video that will help you in that regard, and one detail that I bet you don't know about. In order to understand the methods that I'm about to share, it's important to know why your posts will rot and where. And the most common place that it will happen is at ground level. Wood requires 3 things for rot to start: oxygen, moisture, and fungi. And those 3 things exist primarily right here at ground level. Above ground, where the post exists, it has a lot of access to oxygen, but not a lot of access to moisture because the wood will dry quickly. Below the ground, it has excess moisture, but it does not have access to oxygen, so rot occurs slower in that location. Right at ground level, it has all 3, so that's where we need to protect our posts. There are 2 methods that I've seen people recommend, which I am not going to recommend in this video, and the first is shosugiban. This is a Japanese wood burning technique, and I've seen some people recommend that if you burn the wood right at ground level, that this can help prevent moisture from getting into the post and stop the conditions that could cause rot. But in my research, I have found nothing that supports this as an effective method. If you know any different, please share in the comments below. The second method is to use used motor oil and to coat the base and the bottom of your post with that. Now, there is a major issue with this, and it is that the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, treats used motor oil as hazardous waste. I'm not going to recommend that you put hazardous waste into the ground, which is going to leach down into your groundwater and cause other problems over time. But there are some people who swear by this method. That said, before we do anything, we have to take care of one detail. Regardless of which method you pick, the first thing you want to do is mark your post at ground level. And I usually just grab a level and hold it up against the post, grab a pencil, and make a quick mark. We just need to know where the post is going to meet the ground so we know exactly where to treat. So let's jump into our 5 options. The first one is one that a lot of people have shared with me, stating that they have used this very successfully for a long period of time, and that is to roll tar or an asphalt roof cement onto the post. Now, I want to throw a couple of caveats out here. Many of the people who shared this with me stated that they coated the entire bottom, including the end grain, on the post in ground. I would caution people against doing that for one reason. You need water to not go into your post, but any moisture inside the post also needs to escape. So if you coat the end grain at the bottom of your post, you're basically telling the post down here that it can't let that water evacuate. So if you're going to use this solution, I would recommend that you roll it onto the post 3 inches above ground, 3 to 4 inches above, and then go a good 6 to 8 below, but leave that bottom portion exposed so it has a way to evacuate moisture out of the post. Now, this is a method that I'm probably never going to use just because I have an issue putting asphalt roof cement or tar into my ground and potentially leaching into the groundwater. Although I've not really found any proof that this could potentially be an issue, I just don't like to put chemicals in the ground that I don't need to. Option 2 is one that I'm seeing more and more, and that is to use Flex Seal. I swear this stuff works on everything. But I'm seeing a lot of people stating that they're finding good results using this as a way to prevent rot on their posts. You want to follow the same approach as you would if you were going to use the tar method. You want to spray it a good 3 to 4 inches above the ground. If you want a clean line on your post, you can certainly use a painter's tape and put that around the post so it looks as clean as possible, especially if you're using Flex Seal that has a color in it. If you're using the clear like I have, it may not matter to you. Same thing with the tar. You want to be a good 3 inches above the ground, potentially 4, and then go a good 6 to 8 inches below. And then just spray it or roll it on all 4 sides of your post, let it dry, and then you can start to set it. Option 3 is to create a slope or a crown at the top of the concrete or the cement that you're going to be putting in your hole to set the post. Now, this is assuming that you're going to be using concrete as your post setting method. The theory behind this is if you mound it up against the side of the post above the grade of the ground, then the water has a place that it can roll off naturally. Now, for me, I've never been a big fan of this because I like more of the natural look at the base of the post where the grass can grow grow right up to it, and then I protect it a different way. But if you don't mind the concrete sticking out, I've had a lot of people tell me that this has worked very well for them. You just want to mound it up good enough so that you have a nice slope to come straight off the side of that post so the water goes away from it rather than towards it. Option 4 is one that I've actually been dying to try and just haven't had a chance, so we're gonna do it. It's using a solution called Post Saver. It's literally a wrap that goes around the base of your post, sticks 3 inches out of the ground, and covers below grade as well. But for this one, I actually have to go to the garage to get some electricity because we need a heat gun. This being my first time using the post-preservative sleeve, there's a couple of lessons that I learned. Do not install it the way that I did. Do this instead. When you put the wrap around your post, you want to make sure you have a very tight wrap before you peel the sticky label and stick it to itself. If you have any gaps in there, you're going to find that you will find gaps when you try to get it to adhere to the post. Second, when you're using your heat gun, in the directions it recommends that you use a plastic roller in order to get a nice clean line and get it to adhere the entire length of the sleeve onto your post. I didn't have one, so I just used my hand, and that is not the right way to do it. So do be sure that you grab that plastic, that hard plastic roller, so that you can get it to adhere top to bottom nice and clean, because you do want this to adhere nicely. Now the inside of the paper or the sleeve feels almost like a tar type substance, which is holding it in place. So it is very sticky once the heat gun activates it, so you'll want to move quickly with that roller. But once you're done, you're going to have a nice little sleeve on the bottom of your post that you can stick in the ground that has 2 layers of protection. Now the people at Post Saver claim that they've done 20+ years of independent field testing with no failures. So assuming that that claim is accurate, this is a solid option for you to use when you are setting your posts. But what if you don't want to use any of these options and you like that nice natural look where the grass meets your post and maybe you already put your posts in the ground? Well, there's a solution for you. When I installed my fence 2 years ago, I wanted that natural look at the base of my post where it looks like the grass goes right up to it. I didn't want the cement hanging out of the top. I didn't want to see a sleeve sticking out of the ground. So I chose a solution that you can use on posts that you've already installed, and that is Post Preservative. This borrows from the solution that electric companies have used in utility poles for more than 2 decades, using a copper boron rod that goes down inside of your post. Now, I actually created a full video on this that shows you the entire installation process, which I will link at the end of the video. I'll also put a link in the video description along with all of the products that I'm showing you today. And if you really want to jump to it right now, hit the card at the top of the screen. But there is one thing that I guarantee you're not doing with your posts that most people have no clue about. As I was preparing for this video, I found something that I was not aware of previously, and it has to do with your posts that you cut. So you have a fresh cut at the end from your saw that exposes sections of the post that did not get treated in the factory when the post was treated. There is a building code that states that any cut end like this needs to be sealed properly. The best way that I have found to do that is using a copper naphthenate solution. 2% is what is prescribed per the building code in order to get this sealed. And you have to do that on all of your cut ends for your posts. Copper green is one solution. The only challenge with copper green is it is a 1.18% metallic copper solution, even though the can says 10. If you look at the fine print, you see that it says 1.18%. But there is another option called Tanino. I just don't have it here, but that has a full 2% copper naphthenate concentration in it, and that you can roll on. So the goal here is you roll on once, you let it dry, you roll on again. You want 2 coats of that on your cut ends of your post before you put them in the ground, so it is sealed properly. But now that you have an idea of how you might be able to stop wood rot on your posts, how are you going to set it in the ground in the first place? Well, you have options, and for more information on that, check out this video. And until the next time, keep doing it yourself.